guys, Courtney Mermaid here, and in today's video I want to talk to you guys about some of the different ways mermaids make money professionally. Alright, so let's start with the most obvious one, the one that everybody considers like the benchmark for being a professional mermaid, which is children's parties. So as a professional mermaid, this is a very common way to make money, is to kind of rent yourself out as a mermaid entertainer for children's birthday parties and other events for children. This is something I've done a couple of times. It isn't sort of the main source of my business, but I do enjoy doing children's parties. They are fun. They're not for everybody, but they are definitely a very common way that mermaids will start off their professional mermaid journey. So another common one is modeling. So a lot of mermaids with, say, higher end tails, you know, the silicone variety, the really fancy pants, or if you've already started off and you are a model and have become a mermaid, vice versa, the mermaids who come to mind immediately are these sort of Hannah Frasers of the mermaid world. There are also models who do it for tail makers as well, who will come by and help them photograph their latest tail creations and apparel and things like that. So that's another way to do it. That one's probably a little bit harder to get into. You kind of have to have a foot sort of in one of a few doors to kind of make that happen, but that is another way that mermaids make money. The third one is YouTube. So as you can imagine, that's kind of where I fit in. That being said, YouTube is not like it once was. It's sort of per 1,000 views you make maybe $1 kind of a situation, and it is harder than it's ever been to get monetized. I know a lot of people were demonetized in the last big demonetization situation that happened. We won't get into that, but so it isn't definitely going to bring home all of the bacon, but it is definitely a revenue stream for a lot of mermaids out there. Another great option for mermaids to make money is affiliate marketing. So it is something that I do. You guys will hear me talk about it from time to time. My Amazon influencer shop, you guys can check that out. There is a link in the description box below. Did you see what I did there? Affiliate linking and these kind of things. So what that basically means is a portion of the sale that you make, and it will vary depending on what you sold, how they got to you, where they went afterwards, did they sign up for something. These all kinds of ins and outs, so it will really depend on a few things, will determine how much you make. So it's not, again, it is not, this is probably one of a couple of streams. You know, being a professional mermaid isn't just about doing the one thing. You know, you have to diversify and you have to think outside the box so that you have, you know, a hand in a couple of different pots. So if one thing doesn't quite pan out the way that you thought it would or you hoped, that at least you have other sources of income as well. All right, another option is crafts and craft fairs. So if you're a crafty mermaid, maybe you make jewelry, you know, maybe you make tails, maybe you make apparel, you know, them really adorable little mermaid bottles with the glitter and stuff. You could always get a booth at a craft fair and do something like that. You know, there are initial investments that you have to make into doing conventions and craft fairs, but they are definitely an option. Number 5, you could open an online shop. Oh, who do I know that has an online shop? Shop Vancouver Mermaid. Oh gosh, I've got something stuck in there. That is another source of revenue and income that I have. So like I said, you keep a lot of different options open. But opening an online shop, do you have a skill that you could sell through your online shop? That was my dog that just shook. Really? While I'm filming? You're so dramatic. But you could start a clothing line. Maybe you make and sell mermaid tails. That's what I do. So I have my line of leggings. I have 2-piece swimsuits, some other apparel, mermaid pod merch. You know, there's a lot of different options. You don't have to even go so far as I have, where I actually pay you know, and put a lot of time and invest a lot into my little business. But you could start with something like Redbubble. You have a couple of designs, maybe you're artistic, you could sell prints of your work and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different ways to make an online shop work for you as well as a mermaid. Number 6. I don't know if I was numbering these the whole way through, so this might just be weird that I've started randomly like 5 and 6. Number 6. Teaching. Okay, so maybe you've been a mermaid for a long time. Maybe you could teach what you know. I had mermaid school going for a while there. That was funded through my Patreon page, so that's kind of evolved, but that was how it started. My Patreon was initially just going to be a mermaid school situation. So, but teaching is an excellent option. You could open mermaid swim school. You could teach online. You know, if you guys haven't checked her out, Raina Mermaid just recently posted an online, it's not quite like a workshop, but it's like an online class by donation. Check it out on her website. I wish I knew which website it was on offhand. You'll find her at rainamermaid.com, but I will look it up and leave the actual link in the description box below. Sorry, Raina. I should be more prepared for these things. Anyways, but there is that as an option as well. Number 7, writing books. So if you are somebody who loves to write and you are also a mermaid, writing could be an excellent option for you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, fantasy or fiction or whatever. You know, maybe you have a skill you could share through your writing, you know, information. So that can kind of tie in with the teaching. Again, Raina Mermaid is an excellent example of that. She has a couple of books out. If you haven't checked her out, again, rainamermaid.com, you'll be able to find links to her books and everything through there. But they're super helpful, you know, so maybe you have, you know, a different view on something you want to share, or some different information or something that you could share, and that becomes sort of passive income after a while, because once you've done the work, and it can continue to earn you money as you go, so you can focus your mermaid efforts on other areas as well. Diversifying, right? Now I already kind of touched on this, but I had to look. But number 8, you could sell your mermaid art. So I know there are a lot of artists out there. I'm a professional artist, and not just in the mermaid stuff. I mean, like I do other work as an artist as well. But you could take commissions. You could, you know, start a Twitch, get some streaming going. You know, if you're somebody who's able to do logo design and things for other mermaids. So there's a lot of options like that. You could go and do conventions where you sell your artwork as well. So that does take a little bit of time. It's not something that just happens overnight, you know. There's a certain amount of skill and socializing that has to happen to kind of gain the followers and sort of get your presence going online. And number 9, selling mermaid tails. Who saw that coming? Anybody? That could have been like number 1 on my list. Anyways, selling mermaid tails. So that is something that I do. All the information for my mermaid tails is on shopvancouvermermaid.com. But if you have the skill for tail making, that is an option too. Now I will sort of add to that please don't just decide you're gonna sell mermaid tails if you've never made one before. Please make sure that you've done your research, you're doing things safely, you're putting a quality product out there, and you know, you're not putting anybody at risk, because if you haven't made a mermaid tail before, maybe, you know, there is some know-how and some things that go into it. I do have a mermaid school playlist that talks about how to make mermaid tails, but it's still the kind of thing you do need to have some experience to do before you can just up and decide to sell them. So but it is an option. So if you are somebody who knows how to sew, likes to sew, wants to make some mermaid tails, it's hard work, but it is rewarding. Seeing your work swimming around on other people is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. And number 10, I left as number 10 because I don't really know, honestly, it's not something I have a lot of experience with. It would be tank work, aquarium work, and generally work underwater. So that is kind of we all know how I feel about aquariums and things, so we're just gonna put that aside. But but it is an option. There are a lot of mermaids who work professionally in aquariums or in tanks and that kind of thing. So that is, again, something you'll need more training for. Not all of these are things that you can just up and do right away without having some practice, some training, and some just general know-how to do them. So if you guys want me to elaborate on this list more, I'd be happy to do that. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below and I'll do my best to get back to you. That being said, I don't have anything else to add. I feel like the most important thing to remember is that mermaiding is a labor of love. It is something that if you're going to attempt to do it full time, you need to have a bit of a plan. She says this as she's planning on quitting her full-time job eventually and doing this full time. So, but I'm kind of digging my fins into a couple of different options so that way I'm not relying on just the tail making. You know, I'm looking at some different avenues as well. So that's something that I recommend doing. Just make sure you do your research, you know what you're getting into. When, you know, mermaiding can make you money. It is not the be all and the end all in terms of financial gain. You know, last year I was in debt to myself, basically, for the amount of money I had to invest into my business. So you can, it's kind of an up and a down, right? You kind of take the good with the bad, but it is definitely something I love to do and definitely worthwhile in my opinion. And I hope that list kind of gave you some ideas of what you could pursue if it's something that you're interested in. All right, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and bell notifications so you don't miss any of my mermaid adventures. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Happy swimming. Bye.